actually think we're not muted right now.
Okay.
All right, welcome to the Ref Room, everybody. I am Scott Smokin Silz, joined by our referee-in-chief from Chicagoland, Mr. Brad Baumruck. What's up, my friend? How you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. I mean, I think 80s kids are mourning, but I'm doing okay.
Yeah, well, we were off last week, and we had the passing of Blackhawks chairman Rocky Wirtz. So condolences to the Wirtz family. And it looks like now Danny Wirtz is officially going to be the person that is going to be taking over the helm. So, not only is it a new era for Blackhawk hockey, with players, it's going to be a whole new world altogether for the Blackhawks. So, should be kind of interesting. Exciting to see what they're going to do.
Yeah, did you see that they're purchasing the Chicago Steel as well?
I did. Someone was kind enough, Mark Bialko sent me an email about that earlier today, which I think is really a great move, to be honest with you, because they're going to be doing the expansion of Fifth Third Arena, which means they're going to have four rinks down there in Chicago. And with that being said, yeah, they've got the ice time, they've got the location. My understanding is that they're going to build a stadium in the round, which means seating all the way around, which would be perfect for watching like junior hockey games or even, Blackhawk practices, scrimmages, some of the special things that are smaller that could really fit in there that don't need to go to the United Center. And, to be honest with you, that may be the spot now moving forward, even for like the high school championship games and maybe the AAA championship games. That might be the type of stadium that would be perfect for that. I mean, do we fill the United Center? We don't fill the United Center, but we certainly could put 4,000 or 5,000 people in there easily for a high school game like that. Be perfect.
Bottom bowl gets.
Yeah, but I don't know how many people does the bottom, like the 100 level, if you calculated all the seats, is that 4,000 seats maybe, 5,000 seats? Probably not. But, if they build a stadium in the round like that, I think it'd be very cool. And that would definitely be an awesome venue for, for what we do, for the big games, the real big games, the championships. I could see the Catholic League's Cup being played there. I could see AAA championships being played there. Be fantastic. So anyway, lots of exciting stuff.
Well, Scott, I mean, I don't know if everybody's going to want to drive into the city for that. Well, that's the thing.
The parking is there. I mean, they drive in to go to the United Center. Why wouldn't you drive there? It's literally 2 blocks away. Right?
Yeah, and it's 2 blocks to walk if you have to park, and there's no parking in the main lot.
They've got to end up building a garage over there. There's no way they could put up stadiums like that without building a garage. They need what Kennedy King College has. They need a garage like that over there. Brad is all frozen up. He like froze up in mid-sentence there. I don't know how that happened, but look at that. Look at that pose, everybody. We couldn't have screen captured that any better. So I don't know. He's probably going to have to dial back in, I have a feeling, because he is completely froze. And I doubt he can hear me. But anyway, so we're going to continue on that subject. But today we are going to be talking about, and I want to bring this slide back up, because we are going to talk about rules that need to change. And I think this was a, here he comes now. He's coming back in. Give me 1 second. We'll put him back up here.
Yeah.
There we go.
This looks better anyways.
Yeah.
You look better with the orange.
You totally froze, man. Anyway, we're going to talk about rules that need to change. And we got this subject. I want to credit Mark Bialco for this because Mark said, what a great idea would be for you guys to keep track of all the rules that all of us as a group feel should change, and then somehow submit like the best ones as we get closer to rule submission time. And when is rule submission time, Brad?
Well, since they're changing stuff, it's a month before. So rules is different, but actual like changes, like you can suggest all kinds of various changes, but it's a month before the next USA Hockey meetings. So right now the next meetings will be in January. They don't change rules until 2020. This 24, so it'd be this winter meeting, the next winter meeting.
So we've got rules. We get this season and next season with the rules before they would change, I believe.
Correct. 2020.
And if we're wrong, I'm sure all the fact checkers out there that watch the show will definitely let us know.
No, they'll change in 26. I forgot
26.
that I have a rule book right here. These started in 21, so we'll have this season and the next.
Oh man, aren't you prepared? Having a rule book, I like that. That's very good.
Look.
I know. Believe me.
I've actually used it too. See, unlike yours.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Mine looks brand new.
It's shocking. Huh?
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, anyway, so we want to talk about some of this stuff, and I'm just going to throw this out there. So you guys are more than welcome to put into the comments any rules that you feel you think should change. And I'm just going to go ahead and tell you the two biggest ones that we've complained about all along as a group would be the offsides, not having delayed offsides. And my understanding is that rule is going to be changed. It is already approved. Is that the correct terminology? Can we say it's been approved? And it's just waiting till it will be officially changed when rules can change for 2026. Are you sleeping there, Brad, or did you freeze up again? Yeah, I think he's...
Can't help the internet in my area.
Yeah, he's in no man's land. All right, he'll dial back in. He knows he froze up. He'll come back in. But anyway, so my understanding from him is that rule has been discussed. There is going to be a change on that, as well as not being able to ice the puck on the penalty kill. They're also going to be making that change as well, and I'm going to confirm that with him as he comes back on.
It's been we've been having problems with the internet all day today, so. Yeah.
Well, I've got, believe it or not, I changed mine a few months ago, but they're coming back out to service me again tomorrow because I'm only getting like a quarter of the speed I'm paying for.
All right, so
what a shock!
No, it's not officially changed. There's a lot of talk that it will change, but it's not going to change until it's actually voted on by the membership, which is done by the entire membership at the Congress meetings. So that won't happen. Not this rule. It won't be this winter. It'll be the next winter.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. But those are a couple of the rules, and I know those are probably the most popular rules in terms of what the referees that have been on the show would like to see changed. And I think the other one, I'll go ahead and throw that one out there, and that is probably, I think the referees would like to see the standalone 5-minute major penalty come back into our arsenal, which was taken away. So I think that would be one that we would have on the list as well. And I think the dangers of that, though, is the officiating community is stripped of these things because of their willingness to go lax. So they either don't have to do paperwork, they don't have a coach yelling at them as bad because they can be like, I only gave them a standalone 5, they're not thrown out. It softens that blow for that time being, but it doesn't ultimately, help you with the task that you're trying to achieve, which is manage a hockey game. I mean, it's a very effective tool if it's used correctly. If it's not used correctly, the 5-minute major is just like calling a 2-minute minor. It makes absolutely no sense. 5-minute major is, a warning to everybody that, hey, we're close.
we're gonna start throwing people out next time. So it's one of those things. But if
but the minute you can't do that, now you're going automatic. Let's say that something happens in the first period. You got a heated hockey game, and Brad froze up again. Okay, he'll dial back in. Anyway, if you've got a heated hockey game, and let's say you have a situation in the first period that you feel like you could calm it down pretty quickly, but now you're making a call that's going to be 5 in a game, sending that guy home for that game and the next game, so it's essentially a 2-game penalty at that point. Hey, dial back in, Brad, if you can hear me. Dial back in again. I'm just going to cut him out so he'll come back up. He'll get the message. But, it's almost a 2-game penalty. And I think sometimes guys are going to be more hesitant to make that call on a 2-game penalty than they would, like, 5-minute major, no problem, man. I'll pound that on them right now. And that'll settle things down. And if it doesn't, you can go from there. But I think that's one of the ones that people have kind of felt that they are missing in their arsenal of tools, with the change. And we've got a few comments, so let's go ahead and look at some of the comments. And Chris Hahn. Chris says, I'm retiring. Why do the refs' dues always go up? Why not coaches? Well, I'm pretty sure Brad's not on here to confirm this. He'll be back in a second. But, I think everybody's dues went up. And he explained this to me very nicely when I made this comment to him about the referees' fees, being increased. And why are the coaches allowed to play under their same and coach and play under their same USA Hockey fee, where the referees have to buy a separate registration fee to referee versus playing. So if you play and ref, you've got to buy 2 fees. And it was explained to me, it's insurance. The cost of insurance for the referees has skyrocketed. And, if you think about it, we do not have a cage. So, protection from here down because of the whistle is none. We get a lot of guys that have, dental work that has to be done. And it is covered. That is covered. If you're in a USA Hockey game, that's why you need to make sure you're working a USA Hockey game. Here he comes again. But, something like that would be covered. And, it's done pretty quickly. Man, you're coming up kind of weird here now, Brad. You're not even coming up as you, but there we go. So that's one of the reasons. We've also had a lot of, we'll call it catastrophic, which are the expensive injuries, including I had one a few years ago with getting my leg broken, and it's costly. They end up paying a lot of money for that. So that's why it's an insurance situation. I hope that answers your question, Chris. And Brad, I'm sure, can jump in and tell you a little bit more. But we were talking about why do refs' dues always go up? Now, you may be, I'm assuming you're talking USA Hockey, Chris. You're not talking about IHOA, because IHOA dues may go up. We have to pay for certain things. I'm not IHOA, but, I know they have to pay for certain things, and Brad could probably explain that better to you. So.
Yeah, so the one thing is misconception right now is the referee dues went up, but the players and coaches didn't. Well, I got news for you. Theirs went up 2 years ago, 20%. Just like ours, and actually the players got it actually worse in their columns because they actually took the levels and they tiered them off. So like a U18 player plays more than a U15 player or a U10 player. They have different tiers where they didn't do that to us, which, they could do because there are age groups that have more injuries. So, if they could start doing that, but I hope they don't. And, we went up. It was the first time the fees have gone up, I think, in 8 years, 9 years, 7 years. It's been a really, really long time since they went up. So, but to answer your question, Scott, about IHOA, our stuff is still sitting at $25 this season.
Okay. I know there was talk that it was going to go up, and I guess you guys opted not to do that, so good for you. But, the fact of the matter is everybody's costs go up. I mean, I know you guys hold meetings to put on seminars, do all kinds of things. You know, the hotels that you have to go to do the meetings, it costs more money. Everything costs more money. Let's face it.
Yeah.
The only one that's why look, gas is going up again. Gas is going up significantly again, by the way. If you all haven't been to the pumps in the last couple, we're up like 20 cents and it's not going to stop right now. So, you know, it's expensive. Go to the grocery store. You know, I never shopped all my life. I took over grocery shopping about 3 or 4 years ago. Trust me when I tell you, it's expensive. Everything's expensive, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it went up 50%.
The little Hawaiian rolls, $5.50 for, you know, Diet Coke. This used to get this for like 50 cents a bottle. Now Jewel $5.60 if you'll buy 4 6-packs. Okay? Like insane.
Yep.
Yeah. Don't get me started. All right, so we're still talking about rules that we think should change, and we've got some comments. I'm definitely going to come back to those. But I'm going to throw one out. You know, we talked about the 5-minute standalone major while you were having a little bit of technical issue there. But I'm going to throw one out that I'd like to see change, and I've probably mentioned this before, but I would like to see the goalies have to wear covering on their legs. I don't see, and this has been explained to me by different people differently. And so I am going to just say that maybe there needs to be a clarification within the rule book, because I've been told by goalies that are referees, high level referees, that not required. Don't have to cover the legs. The pads are on, but if you don't want to cover the back of your legs, you don't have to. I've had other people tell me, oh no, that has to be covered.
So, Scott, the only thing that you're looking at is in the USA rule book, there's required equipment, and then there's recommended equipment. And that leg covering would be underneath the recommended.
Yeah, I think that should be changed.
It's not underneath the you know, the full required playing equipment to be a valid player.
Yeah, see, that's a rule I would like to personally see changed. I think it looks terrible. Looks like worse than rat hockey. Hockey.
The guys cutting the inside of their pants open, it looks terrible too, but what are you going to do about it? Or leaving the zippers open?
Yeah. Well, if the zippers are left open, that you can't do. That got to close them up. Got to wear the equipment the way it's intended to be worn. You can't change the way the equipment is supposed to be worn, right? You know, now if the zippers don't work, that's another story. But I
hold
I
on.
just
What's
think
the zipper there for?
Zippers there to be open and closed. Open to put on, closed when you're playing.
For what?
Yeah. All right.
For what? What's the purpose? There's zero purpose to them other than for them to open them.
I think it's safety. It's a safety issue. You're exposing more.
I'm just saying. It's not in there.
Okay. All right. Okay. So I'm throwing that one out. Put in the comments if you guys have something that you would like to see changed, and keep going through some of these. Jay Sidney.
I want a rule brought back.
Like always, why the hell are the open book exams so garbage? One question is about what penalty do you call for a reckless endangerment checking from behind, and it was match penalty instead of... And he continues part 2, game misconduct or match, and/or match.
Reckless and endangering. The second it says that, it's a match.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Easy schmeezy. Thank you for that.
If you see the word recklessly, intentionally, something along those lines, it's a match.
Yeah,
that means they had intent. They knew what they were doing. It is what it is. If you're recklessly endangering, like driving down the highway going 400 miles an hour is recklessly endangering people. I can't say, oops, I didn't know that it wasn't 400.
Yeah.
That's the big hang up. Reckless and endangering. See that?
Hopefully that answers your question, Jay. So, you know, good question. I'm sure a lot of people share the same thoughts and you know, misunderstanding. So it's a good way to clear it up right here. All right. Chris is back. There's a ref shortage. USA Hockey. let's raise the registration for the refs. All right. Well, is there really a ref shortage anymore? I'm going to ask Brad.
Oh yeah, but it's a different kind. It's a number shortage, and then there's another new shortage.
Yeah, the shortage is the experienced referees. The shortage is the 3s and 4s. I think we have enough people, enough 1s and 2s, but I don't think we have enough 3s and 4s.
Well, the other thing that a lot of people are failing to recognize is it's not just a shortage of pure numbers, which we still have issues with. Now it's come to workable hours. The days of 20-year-olds working 5-6 games on a Saturday and a Sunday, they're not going to do it anymore. We've seen it. People get 3 games and they turn back the third one. I can only do 2.
Is that because they're playing, or is that because they just don't want to do 3 games
only doing
or 4
2 games? It's common trend. We're only doing 2 games.
Interesting. Well, we've had refs. I mean, I know guys that will only put their skates on once. They're good refs. They're level 4s. It's like, I'll put my skates on once, but I'm not taking them off and putting them back on again. And that's exactly how it's been quoted to me in the dressing room. It's like, nope. I mean, if I get 2 games, fine. I'll work the 2 games. As long as I don't have to take my skates off. If I take them off, I'm done. That's it. So, yeah. You didn't hear that one from me because I'm not that way.
No,
I work.
I've heard it before.
I'm happy to work my 6 games in a day, but I prefer them 3 and 3.
I'm just saying, and the other thing is too, there's no way of getting around how much an insurance premium costs. That's set by the underwriting company that gives us our policy. USA Hockey has no control of that. And why is it set? Because it's a dangerous sport. Why is ours always so much more expensive? Let's see. We don't have to wear a cage.
Yeah, I explained that from here down we are not protected. Okay, so we are subject to taking pucks in the face, and it's expensive to fix.
Plus, referee injuries, when a referee is injured, they're normally extreme. Yeah. Thousands of dollars for stitches or teeth or dental work or a busted jaw. I mean,
or a broken
these are
leg.
Not small injuries. I heard you wrapping up with your leg being broke.
Yeah. But I mean, that was expensive.
And when a referee gets involved in a collision or something like that, they're generally not expecting it. So we're almost like sitting ducks. Plus, we have 2 players running into us instead of 1.
Yes.
So it's a very different thing that we're involved in than what the players are. I mean, yeah, they get hurt too, but severe injuries, referees suffer them more.
Yeah, it's a great explanation. So I hope that clears that up for people as well. And we're going to come in with Mr. Alan Gould, the legendary scorekeeper at Skokie. Here are my 3 rule change. Shoulder pads, rule, bring back. 2, half shield or cage, goal, no puck in face. Kids game, if kids in penalty box, ice the puck for no icing. Okay, and hi to Frankie and Joe Brett, etc. Okay, thanks for that, Alan. So I think what Alan is saying, well, shoulder pad rule, they have that at Skokie for men's league. They won't let you play unless you have shoulder pads on. I don't see anybody playing in youth hockey without shoulder pads. It is checking hockey. Trust me, they want shoulder pads. They all wear shoulder pads. I want shoulder pads, but I don't get to wear them.
I've seen high school guys try it, Scott.
Really?
Yeah, I've sent them off the ice. Go get your shoulder pads.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just not smart. It's not safe.
Well, it's not in the rule book. Well, it is today. You're not. I'm not going to referee this game if you're like that. So, go get
he said half shield or cage, goal, no puck in face. Half shield or cage.
Get rid of the half shield. That's what he means. It should just be a full cage, I think.
Okay. I'm of the opinion, and we've shared this before. I think men's league should be cage. You should have to wear a cage. I don't think you should. At least a half shield. But we got guys out there with nothing. Nothing good's going to happen to them. So we're going to leave it at that because we've talked about that before. Somebody said screenshot captured. That's funny.
Yeah, that was when I froze. That was a long time ago.
Well, hey, let's, if you guys want to have fun with Brad, I can have fun
here we go.
with Brad.
I know what you're going to do.
Let's have, should we have Brad, we'll keep Brad mad in black and white. Is that the good Brad or the bad Brad when we put you in black and white is the question. Or
I have no
you know,
idea, but it would
yeah.
be a cool segment, black and
But you know,
white
we
with
could we
Brad.
could we could we could make Brad do the show upside down all day too.
You know, if I'm able to sit on the ceiling like that and my hair not to float down, I'm doing
Yeah,
pretty good.
look,
It's
your
not a
hair
hair
still
job.
looked great, man. I mean, it did not come down whatsoever. You must be using the Carrie Fraser hairspray.
Nothing but the best, Eddie.
Right. All right. Jay says, let's see, they should allow all level 4 tenured refs to submit a vote in the conference. Okay. Yeah, I see
There is
where you're
no
going with that,
conference.
Jay, that, the refs should be voting on some of these rules. Well, we enforce the rules. The coaches and USA Hockey decides for the development and for what they feel they're trying to do or what the coaches are trying to get them to do to train players and develop players and make the game better for all involved. But I see where you're going with that, and I agree with you in a sense that maybe the larger organizations, when it comes to hockey, have more vote than the lesser groups. Because I don't understand how the rule that we talked about earlier got passed, because I've never met anybody that voted for it, but yet it
Nobody
passed.
that'll admit it to you.
Well, that's probably a good idea, because, we probably would still be over at the bench talking to them, to this day and age. Like, the game would never start. We're going to talk about this. But,
Yeah.
yeah.
They're the same guy that voted for men's league not to have running time, Scott. That was your idea. Okay? That was your
Probably
idea. So
right.
try and
Probably
hide
right.
the
Well, now I
shadow,
see
like-
the other side of the coin, and I think you probably should have that running time. Okay.
Yeah, probably.
All right. Chris, how about stop raising our dues without raising coaches? I think we covered that, Chris.
They did. They
yep.
did, the players and coaches 2 years ago.
Yep. And he said he sent the
So, year before
screenshot to you.
last.
So there you go. All right. I think I'm looking at some of these, and I think we're good on most of these questions at this point in time. So you said you got a rule that you
I want to see come back, Scott.
okay.
Yeah, I got one that I want to see come back. Center line offsides.
Center line offsides.
Center line
So
offsides.
with center line offsides, I don't remember. I wasn't reffing when we had center line offsides. So maybe you should
No,
set
you
it
weren't,
up.
trust me.
What's that?
Well, no, you weren't. Trust me.
Yeah.
Center line offsides is the two line pass, even though you
Oh,
can pass it over any other two lines. But they're referring to passing it over the blue line across the center line to a player.
So a two line pass.
But I can pass it over the goal line and the blue line.
Right.
It's not a two line pass. It's center line offside.
Used to be called a two line pass. You're right. I don't know. I like that we don't have that personally. I think I like the stretch pass. It changes the game. It adds offense. So I wouldn't want to see that come back.
Well, NHL has had the lowest breakaways that it has before or after they removed the center line offsides. They used to have more breakaways.
Why do you think that is?
Because the defensemen now, they know that pass is coming, so they sit back far enough in order to cause that pass to be blocked off. When back in the day, they used to have to defend against it, so they'd go up against the blue line. Sorry, an app popped up.
Oh, okay.
They would go up against that blue line, and they would feel comfortable enough that they weren't going to be able to get burned by that pass. But when a guy connected with it and the guy swooping out there, boy, was it pretty. And you don't see it anymore because now there's always a defenseman standing there. I think it keeps the game more bunched up. I understand the critics on that. I don't think skilled hockey is passing it 95 feet down the ice with a defenseman standing there. I think it's more of a skill to catch that puck on that side, passing it 65 feet, and getting through defensemen, because now you have everybody compacted. So now you have to laser that pass through all these bodies and everything, to where now half the time the pass isn't even challenged because there's such a separation. That's just me. I'm an old-time hockey guy.
Yeah, I know. I get that.
I also want to see, but it's not going to happen, is that icing is nullified if it's shot through the crease. But I
Yeah,
know that
you know
will
what?
never happen. And by the way, these are not USA Hockey opinions. I'm
Yeah.
just saying.
Oh
if
yeah,
I
yeah,
were
yeah.
changing
Get your disclaimer in. Get it early and often.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't. I like the college rule that if the goalie even comes out to try to attempt to make the play on the puck, that the icing is negated. I think
It's
going
too
through the
complex.
creases is a good one because I like that one too. I wouldn't have a problem with that returning. I like that.
Yeah. I
You know?
get why. I can tell you why it probably left. Because if anything got close, everybody was waving it. Plus, the crease also got bigger.
Yeah,
So
creases.
that's one thing.
Yeah. All right. Well,
And
I'm gonna.
now you wouldn't even have that much of a crease left if you were if they're truncated.
Yeah.
So, but there's supposed to be the crease there. But long story, we're not getting into that rule.
Yeah.
So, but
Well,
those are
couple
the two
people-
that I'd like to see back
Chris-
from old school hockey.
Chris says, yeah, 2-line pass. He bring it back too.
Okay.
Yeah. There you
Center
go.
line offsides, Chris. Center
Yeah.
line offsides. You
Center line
refereed with
offside. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to throw one back out there, and that is the one that everybody talks about every time, and nothing ever gets done, and that is the error on icing. And when I say that is the official errors on an icing call, and that means now it's a last play face-off. I don't agree. A lot of coaches and a lot of officials think it's going to come back to center ice. I disagree with that. But I also don't agree that it should.
Hang on. When you told, I want to put this out there first. When you told me this, I said I agree with you. I had no rebuttals. So go ahead and make your point. So I
Okay.
I thought this was
I don't.
good.
Okay, you err on an icing call, and now the stoppage takes place in the other team's defensive zone, and there's going to be a face-off there, end zone face-off. I don't agree with that. If you blew that call, I think it should come out of the zone to the dot by the blue line. And the reason I say this is because I know I lost a playoff game one year, men's league game. It meant a lot. But because we couldn't get the goalie out of the net, because we had the face-off in our zone, we had to put the goalie into the net. So if it had been in the neutral zone, we stood a better chance of being able to move the puck down and get the goalie out of the net, or keep the goalie out of the net. But I'm of the opinion that, yes, I see where USA Hockey went with this, and they went with, well, it's a stoppage there. That's where the play was, so that's where the face-off is going to be. But I don't feel it's fair. Go ahead.
The point you're missing, though, too, is I see why they put it down there, because they legally gained that zone.
Right.
So I get both points, but I think there is really there's really no.
Well,
fair
wait.
way. It's not gonna
Did
be
they
fair no
legally
matter
gain
what,
that
but
zone? It was going to be an icing, or it wasn't going to be an icing. I mean,
if it wasn't an icing, then they legally
Yeah.
gained that zone.
Yeah, yeah.
I get it.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm just saying,
But-
I'm with you. I think the referee screwing it up. I think personally, I think that outside where they used to call it the special spot in NCAA, that's what those four were called, the special spots.
Oh, okay.
I
Never heard it referred to, but that makes sense.
Well, I'm just telling you, it used to be that way in the rule book. But I get where you're saying. I don't think it should stay all the way down in that zone, but I don't think it should go all the way to center ice either. So
I agree.
I get what
I agree
you're
with
saying outside, but by the way, this is not how you call it right now. Call it the right way until somebody changes it.
Right. Exactly. I mean, you err on the call, that's where the face-off takes place. We do have some officials that will do otherwise or think otherwise, because most of the coaches all think it goes to center ice. Honestly,
no, they don't.
A lot of them do. Oh, absolutely.
No, they don't. No, they don't.
Yeah.
They all know. Trust me.
Well, they may know, but they will argue that it goes to center ice. But no,
they'll argue with you about anything.
I know that. That's true.
But they know.
Yeah. All right. Well, anyway, let's see. Got another comment that just came in here. How about when there used to be those dots right inside? Right inside the blue line. That's where the icing error should take. Oh, so what you're referring to is at one time we went to 9 dots, but there used to be 13 dots because you had 2 on the inside of the blue lines.
Yep.
You know, so you could go high or low. Well, I don't think, do we really want to put 4 more dots in just because there's a potential icing error by the official? And I think the answer to that would be no.
Here, Scott, let's just, while we're at it, just put a couple of arbitrary ones down in the corner or something, you know? It's just, these are the corner dots. Like,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
I think the game is complex enough and officials have enough hard times with the 9 dots. I don't think we need any more. I don't think we need any more lines. I don't think we need nothing. The more we put on the ice, the more the game gets screwed up.
Exactly.
So let's just leave it alone.
The game is not screwed up. That's the beauty of it. Okay, we got a great game. There's still a great game. There's a few things that just kind of like didn't make sense. And admittedly, I think the powers that be understand that probably wasn't a great idea, and that's why it's going to change. And we'll just leave it at that. We're not gonna, point the gun at them.
How about we just go back to 3 dots? 1 in the center, 1 in each end zone in front of the goals. Remember how it used to be like that in the 1900s?
I don't remember that, but I swear that when I was growing up, I could remember there were times where a puck got dropped almost in a slot, like a high slot area. And I don't remember anything about how, why, or when, but I do remember that.
Before we went to 9 dots, you would drop on the invisible line, right? Made by the 4 dots on the outsides, okay? So, but before that even, it used to be a face-off where it used to get knocked out of play. Like, they would drop it right there. Like, I remember somebody was telling me about this. It must not have been more than 6 months ago. Somebody was telling me, because they're like, oh, yeah, well, before we dropped on the line, we used to drop it as long as it was within like the 8 outer dots, I guess, not like closer to the board. I don't know. They explained it to me, and I was like, that's quite intriguing. But yeah, I guess that was a thing. So that could be what you're remembering. Yeah. But if you look at some old video from way back in the day, they had 3 dots. One was like plastered in front of the net. One was at center ice, and one was plastered in front of the other net. There were no end zone corner dots. None of that. They just had 3 dots. And I'm like, it must have been really interesting for the goalie, always getting his bell rung from the middle of the ice. Like, plus you're in the middle. You've got to defend both ends. Like,
I would not want to be the official dropping the puck in that situation down in that slot area. That would not be definitely not a good safety issue for any of us.
Goal judges used to stand on the back of the net, Scott.
When was this? I don't ever recall that.
A long time ago.
I mean, I remember when they had the little booths, like in the NHL, the best seats in the building were occupied by a goal judge.
I can tell you this, Scott. I've done goal judge before in a playoff game a couple playoff games now. The first time I did it, it was the most nerve-wracking 60 minutes of my life.
Why?
Was it close? Was it close? Did it go in? I don't know. It was the worst. I was like, I'd rather be out there screwing the game up. Like, I'm like, if I screw this up, I'm going to turn the light on. Everybody's going to look at me. I'm going to be looking like an idiot. Like, and I'm like, yeah, if you nerve-wracking 60 minutes of my life.
So if you did that on a nightly basis for 10 years, you'd be a tenured goal judge, and it wouldn't phase you a bit. You'd be like, yeah, that's in. No, that's not in. You'd be confident with it.
Yeah,
but it's like being a level 1 and going out and doing your first game or two. It's like, oh my God, was that icing or was that offside? I'm not sure. You're a deer in headlights. I get it. I mean, look at tennis officials. They got a ball coming at them at 130 miles an hour off the serve. And if it's not a clay court, they can't really see, did it leave a mark? Is it good or is it out? But they make those calls all day long.
And you know what? They're sitting up in one kick-ass chair. That's all I know.
No. That's the referee. That's the referee that gets to sit nice and comfortably. They move. They used to have more officials down below, but now they only have them on one side. So the one side has to call the far side. And then they got what they call a cyclops, which is the laser that detects like serves in and out. And, they've got it for the baseline so they can go back and look at anything that's challenged. And the players get a lot of challenges. But nowadays, you know, you have one person on, you know, the back side of the court, and you're looking all the way down at the far line trying to call like the center line. So you're not even on the side of the court where the center line is. So, you know, just another way of cutting down the number of people that they need to do those things. But it seems to be working. They do a pretty good job with it.
Yeah, I mean, all I know is who was thinking of what. Let's just bring up one of those lifeguard chairs, put it right next to a tennis court, and stick somebody up there.
Man, I think we should put one of those in the penalty box. We get a lifeguard chair in the penalty box, sitting up high and watch the game. And
Oh, that'd be good. You need extra insurance.
I bet some of the officials would do a better job from up there, since you don't have to skate and get out of the way. Okay. Because, you know, the players and coaches never miss anything, and they're just sitting there. It's like, well, you didn't have to dodge 4 guys coming at you at the same time.
Yeah. All right. Well, this has been fun,
right.
Scott. Let's call it a night.
Yeah, we are going to call it a day right now. Thank you guys for joining us. We do this every other Monday during the off season, and then we'll be, my gosh, this is already July 31st, which means we're going to be back to weekly pretty soon at the rate we're going here, because seminars are coming up like crazy. And have they started yet? I think have you had your first seminar yet?
This week.
This week, yeah. See, I knew it was right around the corner.
Tomorrow.
Is it tomorrow, really? August 1st?
Tomorrow and Wednesday.
Wow.
And don't try and sign up for them. They're full.
What level are they?
First 6 are, or first 7 are.
Are those level 1?
2s tomorrow, 3s and 4s on Wednesday.
How can you be full on the seminars? Zoom.
I think it's the first 6 are filled totally.
Did you limit the number of Zoom seats you can have?
We can only have a certain amount.
Well, come on over by me. I got 500 seats available in mine.
Yeah, no. Well, I mean, we're only allowed
and high definition, I might add, 1080p.
We're only allowed to have so many in there.
Yeah. All right.
So
well, maybe I better register then.
I would suggest it.
Probably a good idea, huh?
Yeah, I mean, we're almost at 600.
Yeah. Okay. That's great, man. Awesome. Yeah, Anthony, our registrar, jumped right in.
There he goes.
Tomorrow. Thank you for that, Anthony. You want to give us the seat totals? Are we sold out? Did we sell out? So when you put up a sold out sign?
That's when his real nightmares start, tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, he does a good job with that. He works hard. That's a thankless job. So anybody that knows what goes on with that position, it's a thankless job. So thank you. Thank you for what you do.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Can you stay another year? That's all we need. 2 more, 5 more. You know what? Registrar for life.
Yeah, there you go. Like accountant for life. That was going to be a 1-year job too. That's Jeff.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to let you guys go. We'll see you in 2 weeks. We appreciate your joining us. And think about it. You know, we'll keep track of some of these rules that we think should change as a group. And we get these sent in. We can do something as we get closer to the day that, we need to actually make something happen. And Anthony says first 2 level 2 seminars are completely full. And about 4 level 1s are filled already. You snooze, you lose. And he says, not going to happen. That's the one we had to put up, okay? All right.
I tried.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, on behalf of Brad Baumruck, our referee-in-chief, a.k.a. Ricky, thank you for joining us. I am Scott Smokin Silz. We will see you in 2 weeks. Everybody have a great couple weeks. If you haven't registered like me,
what
are you waiting for? Get on it. Exactly. Do it. I'll be registered by the next time I see you guys, I promise. Okay? All right. Now you hold me to that, of course. So
Yes, I will. I'll call you every day until then.
I know you will. And text me.
You're welcome.
Appreciate that. All right. See you guys. Peace out, everybody. Have a great week. Enjoy the weather.